Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Shadow Victreebel in the Open Great League. We're going to use our shiny variant with great PvP LVC as well, and we're going to run the legacy move of a Magical Leaf. This move is available from the community day from this Pokemon, and so today we're going to take a look if this Pokemon still has use in the current meta. To be fair, I don't think I have seen a single Victreebel so far this season. I think that's actually a lie. I think I saw one of them so far, with like literally in the beginning where someone tried to play Bastion, the Wigglytuff, as well as the Victreebel against me. Today we're not going to have a toxic team here at all. We're going to have even our return Eradicate here, which is going to be a lot of fun. This Pokemon is quite cool, as you saw here already. And yeah, we're going to take a look if this Pokemon has some play this meta here. If I didn't go for a charge move, I thought I still would survive one more fast move from the opponent, which was not the case, my fault. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the Shadow Victreebel here today. We're going to run Acid Spray on it, which is hit or miss. I have to say, I'm not too sure if it's better than Sludge Bomb. I am not too sure. I cannot say for sure either that it's worse than Sludge Bomb though. But yeah, the Acid Spray can be quite cool, as we saw like that gas one layer getting obliterated instantly. But yeah, we're gonna take a look if this Pokemon still has some play. Interesting typing for the current meta, and Magical Leaf gonna allow it to generate energy a bit faster while still doing some decent fast move damage. So let's find out if this team still works. So, Victreebel against Dunsparce. So we're gonna take a look here especially at like the new matchups for this Pokemon. A lot of the Pokemon that you see in nowadays meta were not available in like basically the last few metas. Like Dunsparce had next to no play the entire time basically. There was actually one time where Dunsparce had play like early on when Rowlet got added to this Pokemon. But yeah, basically since then it's not really getting any recognition before, and now this season of course it's one of the top meta Pokemon. Otherwise we're going to have also of course other matchups here. We're going to have a lot of Mud Step users, which is good and bad in their own ways, because here we are Grass type Pokemon doing super effective damage against them, but they're also still doing neutral damage against us with the Mud Slap, or here the Boomerang, as we have the part Poison typing on our Pokemon. Part Poison typing, while Poison types are a bit more common now. Here, by the way, it would be cool if you had Sludge Bomb. While Poison types are a bit more common now, the Part Poison typing is not as ideal anymore as it was in like the recent seasons, as you had a lot of Fighting type Pokemon where you're able to resist moves. Here, now there is no counter ready anymore, so that kinda is one of the things that kinda, yeah, can be a bit tricky for it. Here we will be able to get the defense stop against the opponent's Jump Love, and unless they're running Acrobatics and Aerial Ace, are we going to be fine here, because Acrobatics here would knock us out, that's fine, but now they will not be able to go for anything other than the Grass type move, right? Wrong, they have Aerial Ace and Acrobatics for whatever reason. Anyway, we're going to be able to move on to the next opponent. We're going to have a Dunsparce here, and we're going to see the Malamar hopping in. I should have swapped out most likely a bit earlier as well, but we're going to see here them having to go for a superpower. I decide to use a shield. I think it's a bit better for me to use a shield here on the first one. I know it's going to be a superpower, I know they get to another one, but what this allows me to do now is I can overfarm by quite a bit, and I also going to be able to get the knockout with an Awkward Tail already, which is really good for me. So I feel like trading the shield for a lot of energy is, I guess, a way that I can go for. I think it's an ideal way, because they have Dunsparce anyway, like Drill going to knock me out, but I don't think they're going to be able to fully fast move me down in time anyway here either. And so I'm going to be able to go for a crunch, get the, not the drop, but get them a kinda low there. And now we have the cool scenario that we're going to have the Victreebel with energy against whatever they have in the back, and it's going to be a Talonflame in this case, which is going to be a bit awkward, but allows us to get the defense stop onto them, which means that Quick Attack is going to do a bit more damage. And you might think that is going to be something that is going to allow us now to win the battle, but I have to say, what would have been really good for this team would be the Shadow variant of the Eradicate. The normal variant just didn't have the damage output that I really would have liked to have. I thought a bit more bulk would be great for the team, but in hindsight I think the Shadow bonus would have helped us out quite a bit, especially with the fast move pressure here. But funnily enough, I am going to be able to farm them down now with that fast move, as they are still at -2 defense, and they decide to go for the fly, and this allows us to still win the battle here. Next opponent, we're going to have the Feraligatr in the lead. That's going to be a great matchup for us as they swap out into the Ferro, allowing us to go into our Drapier and we can take a hit. And Crunch can two-shot them depending if I think the IVs or if I get a drop here of their defense. I do get the drop here of the defense, and so they guarantee two-shot them with Crunch, which is great. They decided to go for the Power Whip as well, which is going to be resisted. And there's no way of them really realigning as long as we keep the same amount of shields as the opponent has. And as you're going to see here, they're actually going to be now in the range for an Awkward Tail thanks to the Crunch debuff. I think I would have even two-shot them without the debuff on the Crunch, but as you're going to see here, we're going to go for the Awkward Tail, which the opponent is going to be able to catch on the ground type, which is great for us. Doing a ton of damage now against them is going to be lovely, and we can even use a shield here, I would say, because like the Awkward Tail damage is really important against the opponent's Clodsire. And actually, no, I decided to let the move go through. That's an interesting play here from me. Staunch is coming through. I am going to be able to go for the Leaf Blade in time here though, which is going to be great because now we are either getting the shield or the knockout, and I'm definitely going to take the knockout here as well. And let's see what they're going to go back into. We know already they have the Feraligatr and they go back into that Pokemon for whatever reason, allowing us to get a shield here. That is quite lovely. And we're just going to do so much damage with our fast move already, showcasing what Victreebel can still do in the current meta. And yeah, we're going to talk a bit now today as well, of course, on how good this Pokemon still is. If the nerf is noticeable. And yeah, what can I say? I think the meta is not really a meta for Victreebel, generally speaking. I don't think that this Pokemon is bad generally as well, but I think the meta currently is a bit tricky. So, why is it the case? Yes, you have Pokemon like the Diggersby here, but I feel like the bulk of the general meta right now is quite a bit higher than it was ever before, because now you have like Diggersby, Toxapex Core literally everywhere, where you're okay against, like don't get me wrong, you're okay against both of the Pokemon, but like bulk can be a bit tricky for you to really break through. And like that's the thing as well, where Victreebel never really worked out in the Open Ultra League, but it worked out quite well in the Great League so far, because you were able to Razor Leaf down like squishier Pokemon. You don't really have those squishy Pokemons right now. And they have a lot of Pokemon that are very fast to get to those charge moves, like a Dunsparce, for example, which can be a bit of a tricky matchup there. Here, maybe I should have actually went for a charge move first with my Victreebel. Should have most likely went for the Acid Spray against the opponent. That was a bit of a mistake, stopping out straight away. But also, what I have to say as well, like, Crunch basically never got a debuff for me. I have no idea why that was the case, but Crunch really was bugged for me. And so at this point we're going to be in a position where we are not going to be in a great spot, and I actually make a bit of a mistake here as well. Again, Crunch debuff would have been great here, but I should have went for the Leaf Blade here because yes, Leaf Blade is double resisted, but Acid Spray has a base power of 20, while Leaf Blade has a base power of 70, and I actually most likely would have had a chance of winning this battle if I went for the Leaf Blade instead of the Acid Spray there. Leaf Blade does definitely more damage, and what we're going to see here as well, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down. We're still going to get to the Leaf Blade here now. I'm fairly certain if I went for a Leaf Blade first, I actually would have been able to win this battle here, but sadly they survived just barely. So that mistake was on me, and honestly I have to say, still like this Pokemon has some potential in the current meta. I still think that this Pokemon going to see a bit more play in maybe limited metas. I have not really taken a look at the potential of the Halloween Cup. I think Halloween Cup, this Pokemon should be available. Kind of said that the Halloween Cup is only available for 1 week next to the next best other cup, which is the Great League Remix Cup, which I don't actually think is going to be too great, to be fair, because it's going to be just plain Great League most likely, because the Pokemon that got nerfed are mainly Pokemon that are not going to be good this season anymore. But sadly, even PvPoke doesn't have the Halloween Cup available right now, and so I can't really take a look at it at the side. But at least in theory, this Pokemon is going to be one that might have some play in that cup as well. But again, there's also going to be a lot of Bug-type Pokemon around. I guess Ariada's going to take over that cup as well. They're being able to beat both Dark-type Pokemon as well as, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I actually don't really know what's otherwise available. Something like Greninja's going to be available. I guess Draping going to be available. The Malamar going to be good for the Halloween Cup. Halloween Cup going to be a very interesting one. Can't wait for the Halloween event as well. Like, Halloween event might be one of the exciting events, the most exciting event in the franchise usually. I would imagine that Mimikyu might be coming to the game this time around. Unless they kind of want to bring in the ability somehow, which I don't think they're going to do. I think Mimikyu is just going to be just a random Pokemon again. But yeah, anyway, we're going to be able to get the opponent here at -2 defense thanks to Acid Spray. That is kind of what definitely happened quite often. Like, Acid Spray was definitely very cool. in order to, yeah, basically drop the opponent's defense and then I kind of lock them in with the other Pokemon afterwards. I think that is definitely a move that has some play in a lot of cases, but again, there were like some occasions against Talonflame, for example, where Sludge Bomb would have been really cool. So next opponent here, we're going to have Human Ketchup, and we have a lot of regional winners as well here today. By the way, there's going to be, I think, a 3 times regional winner coming up as well against us. So definitely stay tuned for those matchups. We're going to have here a very bad matchup for us. Like, we're literally just getting walled right now. We have a horrible lead. We had a horrible Sace up here for us. We're gonna have to go ahead and go into our Victreebel. Victreebel is going to be able to farm them down. But also, we're not going to be able to fully farm them down because they're still going to get to a charge move. If we just did like the few more HP there, that would have been really good for us, but it is what it is. They can still do so much damage against us. I'm going to try to get the shield from them and hope that Eradicate is going to be able to win us its battle. It is going to be tough. We kind of maybe have to rely on some crunch debuffs as well, as we're going to have to use a shield here on a potential Brave Bird, but it depends on what they have in the bag. Please don't be a hard counter. It is not, it's a Feraligatr. It's definitely something that we can still deal with, and maybe if we get a debuff here, we have a good chance as well. The opponent's switch clock is also a bit unaligned compared to ours, so we might be in a solid spot. I can take a hit while the opponent cannot really take a hit here, so there is definitely still some play. And as you're gonna see, we're gonna be able to go ahead and go for a charge move. It's going to be the Crunch. Crunch is gonna get the shield, and now it just depends if we are going to be able to outspeed them to the next one, but something I actually didn't really realize is the switch clock was up. Great play by the opponent here, and this is going to be it for this one. Good game there, great job for them, and yeah, well played. There's not a lot that I can do here. Maybe if I stayed in for a bit longer, I don't know, like no, there was nothing I could have done there. Good game to the opponent. We can move on now to the next one, as they're going to be able to knock me out quite easily here, and yeah, good game there. So, next opponent, let's see what we want to see here. We're going to have Feraligatr against us in the lead. That is going to be quite a decent matchup. They're very likely going to swap out, and they're swapping out into their own Eradicate, which is hilarious because we can go for the Leaf Blade, do a ton of damage, and what we can do next is we can swap out into our own one. We most likely have to take a return, but return should most likely do around like 70% of our health, allowing us to still survive, allowing us to fully farm them down, allowing us to also align ourselves most likely perfectly afterwards. And if they want to go back into the Feraligatr, they're going to take some very nasty hits here as well, with Crunch and Return, but they're actually going to have their Clodsire in the back, which is a bit of a trickier one. We don't get a debuff again, as we never get the debuff, but we can go for a Return, and look at the return damage. It is beautiful. Never mind, we will never see it. It's going to be a shield. So, never mind there, but yeah, Return will have done quite some decent damage. We're going to have the Earthquake coming through from the opponent here, which we are able to shield up. We have to be a bit careful if the opponent wants to catch or not, but Aqua Tail is going to be our best bet against the opponent. One more Aqua Tail will be enough to knock them out, and so they're very likely going to have to use a shield here. So, let's see on how this is going to go. We're going to see the knockout, and the opponent just forfeits. Colin 6 here, yeah, I think 3-time regional winner, definitely 2 times, but I think it's 3 times total regional winner for Pokemon Go there. So they know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing. Yeah, I am not on that level yet. I really, by the way, would like to get back into Show 6 Pick 3 format, but I'm not going to do it while I'm still on Android. That is definitely something I kind of noticed from doing those battles. Like, iOS is so much more fun to play. So yeah, I kind of really would like to go back into like competing more tournaments and more serious. Like I've actually never competed seriously in a tournament. Like the one where I got 3rd place, like the one regional I got 3rd place in Utrecht. I literally built the team on the train towards Utrecht. So yeah, I did not do any practice battles for actually any tournament ever. And especially for the last tournament, I definitely can see why practice battles are so important. Like, there were a lot of things I would have changed if I had some more battles in with my own team. And so, yeah, definitely something I would want to do in the future as well, but I would just need to have a better phone for that. Here the opponent makes a great play. I honestly did not count the energy of them at all, and that was a big mistake, I think, because, I don't know, actually never mind. I don't think there was a way of winning this battle for me. Unless I would have been able to catch an Ice Beam, I guess. Yeah, an Ice Beam could have been the way out for that one there. Maybe I would have been able to, yeah, win that then with getting a ton of energy on my Eradicate before. But even then, like, there was mostly no way of actually winning this battle. I don't think there was a way for me winning this battle at all. Like, while maybe there was like 1 or 2 things I could have played differently, I don't think there was actually an outcome where I could win this one based on the alignment that I had. And so that's going to be fine. We're going to lose a battle here. Manabus just a bit too bulky, and we can move on to the next opponent. That's the thing as well that is a bit awkward sometimes for me while doing YouTube, by the way. I try to avoid a lot of times like tanky Pokemon. For example, for this team, I would have had also Manibus as a better pick over Raticate in the back, but I just don't think people are enjoying matchups like Manibus against, I don't know, like some Clodsire or something like this, or like Diggersby, because like then you sit there and try to watch YouTube for like 1 minute where like 2 bulky Pokemon go up against each other. Like, where's the entertainment there? I have no idea. Also, that would have been great here, by the way, to get into the Drapion, but it is what it is, we cannot have them all. But also, there was another mistake that I'm doing here. I sure went for the return. I thought I might be able to outspeed them with a Crunch. And as we basically swapped at the same time, it depends on the CMP type, but apparently you have lower attack than the opponent, which I cannot actually really believe, but it is what it is. We're going to be able to swap out now into the Drapion, and the only play here is to fully farm them down, I guess. I don't know if actually you're going to be able to do that, though. We have to see here, Ariel is coming through. I don't want to take another hit. I'm forced to go for a charge move, but they actually swap out into the Dunsparce. They had a charge move stored here, but I was predicting that swap anyway, so we were going to be able to get rid of this one, which is really important. And the back is going to be a Toxapex, and that is winnable. That is definitely winnable. I can go for 1 Crunch here, hope for the debuff. Honestly, we have double Crunch on this team, and we don't get a debuff with all of them. Like, it's kind of mad. I think this one gets a debuff. Never mind, we are not getting any chance here today, but it's going to be fine. We're going to see the opponent going for a Brine. We can swap out, and now we just have to overfarm up to 2 Leaf Blades. We have 2 Leaf Blades, and even if I wanted to swap out here, there was no way of them winning the battle. Both Pokemon go down to a Leaf Blade, and so this is going to be it for this one. Still, Victreebel is very solid. It is not top tier meta, but it's definitely playable, and I hope this video was fun for you, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.